Thank you so much for agreeing to the interview. Now, Daniel Ferry, you're running for town council. What makes you think that you'd be a good town councilor?
At the risk of repeating myself and boring y'all, I have some experience helping small towns access the resources that they're entitled to with the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, as well as Cornell University's regional planning program. I think that I could be of use helping bringing some of the state and federal tax dollars we already pay back to our own town. Plus, I am just a big nerd who loves a research project and thinking about infrastructure, and I only live a 5-minute walk from town hall, so it's an easy commute. I'll be there all the time. Showing up's half the battle, right?
That's great, Daniel. What would you say to voters who may be concerned that you haven't lived in New Baltimore long enough to really understand what it's about?
I get it. I get it. It's a valid concern. I myself am from a rural upstate New York town. Woodville, New York, 17 miles south of the Canadian border. I'm not sure it even legally exists. It's so small. I think there's two things that people are concerned about. One is people coming in who aren't knowledgeable. And to that concern, I know I have a lot of catching up to do. There's people I need to meet, there's history I need to learn, and I'm doing just that. And I'm excited to do it. Running this campaign has been really a crash course, and I'm really grateful for the experiences from that, whether I win or lose. The other concern that I think is really valid is when outsiders come into a place, I think locals who've called it home for a long time are really right to wonder, are you moving to my home just to change it? Do you actually have my interests at heart? Or are you just kind of an opportunist? And what I would say to that is I'm deeply dedicated. I grew up on a dairy farm. I'm deeply dedicated to farming communities and wilderness areas. We didn't move here to change it. Change is going to come, and we need to be able to manage it as best as we can. But I'm deeply dedicated to preserving the rural and wild characteristics of this place we call home, so that when we're the ones who have lived here for 30 or 40 years, we can still say that it's an amazing, amazing community.
That's wonderful, Daniel. Maybe you can clear something up for me. The Democratic ticket is running a non-partisan slate, but the candidates are running on the Democratic line. How does that work?
Sure. You don't actually have to be a registered member of a party for the party to run you. Being on the ballot is important. The Democratic Committee has a guaranteed ballot line. And for this cycle, they decided that rather than just support anybody with a D next to their name, they wanted to back candidates who could work together and find pragmatic solutions for the town. So our candidate for town supervisor, Denise, is a Republican. Dave Faul is a Democrat. I'm not a fan of the two-party system. I try to vote for third parties and independent candidates as often as I can. So I'm a registered Working Families Party member. And yeah, they prioritized, they very generously offered us their ballot line and prioritized problem solving over what team you're on.
That's great. And can you tell me a little bit more about what it means for you personally to be running on a nonpartisan ticket?
Yeah, I think that most of us, the sane majority of us, are sick and tired of all the yelling and screaming and fighting, particularly among your own neighbors, your family, your friends. I think it's important to tone down the temperature and demonstrate that people who belong to different parties can still shake hands, sit around a dinner table, come together and solve problems. We're a small town. We don't have the big divisive identity crisis issues that are seizing the nation. We need to make sure that the roads are plowed and safe, that kids are safe getting on school buses, that our tax dollars are spent responsibly. And doing that doesn't have much to do with whether you're team red or team blue.
That's great, Dan. And finally, just, for you personally, can you tell us a little bit about yourself outside of being a candidate for town council?
Sure. I work as a research analyst for a private equity company, which is a bit of a mouthful. What that means in practice is that I study companies and make investment advisements. I also help out my dad's farm with some financial planning decisions. I'm actually studying right now to hang out my own shingle to start a financial planning business that focuses on socially responsible investing, which means making investing decisions with environmental, social, and governmental good in mind. Other than that, I really mean what I say when I say I'm a big nerd. My actual job is a lot of just thinking about looking at spreadsheets and thinking about infrastructure and systems. When I'm not doing that, I'm passionate about science fiction books, Dungeons and Dragons, and cooking, specifically the science behind cooking. I like the physics and chemistry of why things work, why recipes work, and why some don't. But as a non-nerd thing, I think my favorite thing about cooking is just being able to nourish people I love. I've cooked dinner for my wife almost every day for the past 15 years. And there's nothing I love better than sitting around with friends, family. We have 10 nieces and nephews and counting between us. And there's no better way that I'd like to spend time with people than sharing a meal, sharing nourishment.
And don't forget about those 2 cute puppies.
Yeah, but I don't cook them dinner.
No. Well, that's wonderful. Everyone, the election is on Tuesday, November 4th, and early voting is already open in Catskill. Please get out there and vote.